Welcome to the Folklore Museum located in the sprawling Manasa Gangotri campus in Mysore, Karnataka, India. This was earlier known as the Jayalakshmi Palace, a part of the Mysore Palace. The royal family gave it to the custody of the Mysore University. It is now being administered by the Kuvempu Kannada Adhyayana Samsthe. The object of this museum is not merely to act as a collector and exhibitor of articles. The more fundamental object is to resurrect the typical Indian personality. In other words, to develop a national consciousness among all of us, commencing from the grassroots. Yaduraya, Krishnaraja Vadayar, Chikkadevaraja Vadayar, Krishnaraja Vadayar III, Krishnaraja Vadayar IV were some of the famous kings who ruled Mysore. The last of the Mysore Maharajas, Sri Jayachamarajendrava Vadayar. India, our country, is known for its unity in diversity. Our independence heralded the transition of power from the kings to the people. Now, the governance is for the people, by the people, and of the people. In these sophisticated and hectic days, our generation are not worried about their culture. Hence, it is the duty of the government, universities, and social organization, and of course, people, to collect and preserve the old objects for our next generation. Otherwise, there will be no identity for our heritage. Folk culture, as indeed true of any other culture, is a vital indicator of every aspect of living, namely art, literature, and even the nature of technological tools used. The study then comprises two areas. One, a scrutiny of the physical articles relating to the life of a common man in those yesteryears when his life was to fortune and fame unknown. And two, capturing the images that these articles had created in his mind. The articles seen constitute the physical form of the medium in which to express the mind. There are two ways by which the folklore can be studied. One is from the mind, that is, the menti-facts study. The other is the study of the physical facts. The wheels of the chariot and the chariot itself symbolizes and signifies life with the carvings and engravings on it. The four vital aspects of life: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These four faces have been depicted in different forms. The idea is to preach and tell us how the life has to be led. The folk thus serves as a base for a happy and prosperous life. The various facets of life, sorrow, happiness, and various other forms are depicted. This is just a true representation of how life is being led and what life offers to us. Mekkekate is an important place in coastal Karnataka. The place is very famous for idols, and that too particularly wooden idols. They are not just idols, but they reflect the folklore. We can see idols of human beings too. At this part of the country, there is a practice of spirit worship, which is known as Bhutaradhane. This means Various forms of animals, etc., like pig, are objects of worship. After some time, once these idols become old, they are transferred to a temple, which is the practice. During the time of making of new idols, the old ones are brought to Mekkekatte. They are worshipped every day, and once a year an annual fair would take place. Later, they are either left in the sea or river. There is also a tradition of collecting all these together. The people feel these spirits will bless them with boons and so on for their happy living. The dresses worn by men, women during those times, the ornaments adorned by both men and women folk, overall a true picture of the lifestyle. We can see the records which show the usage of clothes by the people. Gods like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara are also seen. Significantly, we must notice that these reflect the rich folklore in this part of the country. How these evolved, the variety of clothes, etc. Hence, Mekkekatte reflects the ritualistic aspect of the practices. It is interesting to note that Mekkekatte dolls are famous in different parts of the world and the concept is appreciated widely. Watch this. The rulers used their intelligence to retain labor and not allow them to move out by forming such teams and making them God-fearing. Observe these special dolls. These are the mythological characters of Pandavas, which are a real treat to watch. It is interesting to note the artistic creation behind these. Generally, they are found on the roof of the temples. The ornamental altar is a unique and innovative formation. A study of these propels new ideas for creations even today. One of the highlights is that the wing of a bee is used to design an ornament. If we observe carefully, we can understand that primary importance has been given to Matru Devate, that is, Mother Goddess, Shakti Devate, Goddess of Strength, Goddess Chamundi is the main deity in this region. Mahishasura, the demon, was slain by Chamundeshwari and hence she is known as Mahishasura Mardhini. Male Mahadeshwara Hills is another prominent pilgrim place nearby. The importance of male god is being depicted here. Veeragase is another unique dance form which narrates the mythological sequences related to Lord Shiva. Malay Mahadeshwara is always referred as a cultural hero. He fought for the upliftment of the downtrodden people. For them, he was God sent. He always fought for their rights. Malay Mahadeshwara Mahakavya is one of the most blissful experience. The bronze Kamsale musical instrument takes us to a different world. The musical Kamsale is indeed an experience one must cherish. Listening to this Mahakavya also tells us about the rich folklore of our country. The fishery division of the Folklore Museum gives us the complete picture of the fishery practice. It is considered as an industry. The various types of formations being used to capture fish is noteworthy. These can be seen everywhere. In the regional language, the variety of nets are called Bisuvabale, Tattuvabale. It tells us the traditional way of how the fishes were caught, the technology employed, and so on. The boats on display reveal they are not mechanized boats but moved by men's technique. The pottery section is also attractive. These various items, like water carriers known as tatrani, the tiles, cookware for food preparations, perforations for inhaling medicinal smoke, have all been manufactured in a scientific manner depending on their needs and the effect of water, air, fire required on them. To prepare idli, different types of lamps for different festive occasions. Signify the fact that living together is an important. Unity in the family leads to development. The joint family system was prevalent during those times. Everyone lived together happily. The various types of cookware and utensils that were used to make food items can also be seen. Watch these metallic formations. These are vessels used for different purposes. We can see those of which used for discarding waste, for holding fruits, vegetables or flowers, and this is the copper palm letter with inscriptions known as Shakti Kali Mantra with divine value. This section depicts the wooden kitchenware. The sizes and shape depend on the size of the family. Bigger the size for bigger family. The Folklore Museum can serve as a study center for art students. It can provide them with vital information and various inputs for transforming their thoughts and imaginations into reality. These are some more items of wooden kitchenware, which are manufactured basically to suit the needs and necessities of the family. These are the dining furniture called tevatiges. They are of different types. The usage significance was mainly to prevent the insects from coming near the food. So, it tells us the story that how much importance they give for hygiene. These are some of the things which were used during dressing, particularly in palaces. Watch the makeup things, the articles. You see that there are different types of combs and their design are made in such a way not just to comb the hair but also to prevent evil forces to enter the human being. It is said that these came from the Adivasis to the palace and from the palace to the common man. We can also see different types of beads in various forms. It is believed wearing these will keep the evil forces away and also to invite and retain Shakti Devate, the goddess of strength, in addition to the ornamental value of wearing it. Watch the variety of cradles. Cradle is the place symbolically where our culture begins. That is, the child is first put in a cradle and the story of his or her life begins. The mother sings for her child. What you hear and learn when you are in a cradle remains till the end. These are the different types of game mediums where variety of shapes like fish, etc. can be seen. Some of these signify education for women. After these, we come to the male-oriented sport like dice, warfare, etc., which brings out bravery, courage, and so on. During Dasara, that is the Navaratri period, just the way the pomp and splendor of Dasara unfolds, the lady folk are busy arranging dolls and worshipping them in their houses. It gives a feeling of mini Dasara indoors. The Dasara festivities are a major highlight in India. A popular tourist attraction, the Dasara festival, held in October every year in Mysore city, is celebrated with pomp and pageantry, echoing the grandeur of the royal past. Dasara celebrates the victory of good over evil, marking the slaying of the demon Mahishasura by the goddess Chamundeshwari. The palace and city are lit up for 10 days and the entire city wears a festive look. Festivals of music, dance and theatre are also held. The highlight of the festivities is the Dasara procession held on Vijayadashmi, the 10th penultimate day. The decorated elephants, horses, folk dancers and colorful floats reminds us of the glory of the folklore of those times. The royal grandeur and the folk are inseparable.
ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ನಾವು ಈ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಗಮನಿಸಿದರೆ ಇದು ಹೊಸ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಿಂದ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಾದದ್ದಲ್ಲ.
The Folklore Museum signifies the confluence of Prabhu and Praja, that is, rulers and the citizens. It symbolizes the patronage, art and culture received during that period. The Mysore kings thus have laid a strong foundation for preservation of culture and growth of various types of art. What is important here to be noted is that the joint efforts of the kings and the citizens can lead to wonders, is what is important. This is the significance of the Folklore Museum. The world must see it and try to get the best out of it. The Folklore Museum in Mysore is not just a place where various articles are kept. The articles here have been created, formed with a heart behind it. Minds have worked tirelessly and relentlessly to shape them. Hence, if we view any article, it evokes a feeling from within. This is the beauty of this museum, which gives a true and real picture of the rich cultural tradition of India. Just the way, in an agricultural field, a plough is only an implement, but there is the heart, mind, and soul of the farmer working on it for the welfare of mankind. Agriculture is the backbone of our country. Agriculture, in fact, is a technology. The methods have improved over a period of time. This section of the Folklore Museum focuses on the amazing range of agricultural implements which were in use manually. The various shapes and sizes of the implements being used, put to use at various stages. The types of ploughs used depending on the animal put into use, whether it's a bullock, buffalo, etc. These ploughs have led to innovation for new products. These are the various implements used for sowing the seeds. Watch the variety. We are now going to show you a special type of basket which was used mainly to hold the seeds before sowing. These are the different types of baskets used to carry manure. These are small wheels of cart to move through narrow passages. These are the different types of means and measures to lift water. They are made sometimes of leather, sometimes from wood, and even metal. These are the different types of protective devices being used during rains. The combination of a number of bamboo leaves and sticks is one type, and the protective device made out of a single leaf of a tree is really fascinating. Depending upon the climate and weather, these have been made. These are the different types of cutting implements and sickles used during the various stages of the growth of the crop. The size, shape of these implements depend upon the length, breadth, thickness, and various other factors of the item or the crop being cut. The creativity and innovation of the Indian farmer is in full view here. These are different types of equipments and implements used to get jaggery out of sugarcane juice. The place where this process takes place is popularly known as Alemane in Karnataka. This is the mold made out of a single piece of wood to get jaggery in the required shape and size. Slowly but steadily, man developed the habit of not only getting decorated himself, but also started decorating animals during festivals and celebrations. This went on to become the culture of our land. The animals represent the pomp and pageantry. Animals like elephants, horses, cows were the prominent chosen ones. They add variety and glamour and are an integral part of celebrations like Dasara, etc. These are the different types of bells used to tie around the neck of the animals. They were used mainly to signal the arrival of the animals by way of the sound of the bell. The different shapes and sizes of implements being made is for easy identification. This is a unique device made out of bamboo to drive away the animals and birds from destroying the crop. These are the creations and formations made out of paddy, specially during harvest, for the welfare of the family and the people. Generally, they are tied in front of the house. Harvest is a very important stage in the life of an agriculturist. During this time, he celebrates not only with his fellow folks and families, but also offers his gratitude to the gods and prays for protection, welfare, and also for a bright future. The gods are remembered in more than many ways, like folk music, dances, and so on. The harvest also calls upon the farmer to use the various types of measures of different sizes. These measures of weight and volume are made of articles gifted by nature. The weights are used to quantify the crop grown. Thus, these give the qualitative and quantitative aspects of the crop. The seals on these measures signify authenticity. Harvest also propelled the agriculturist to express his happiness. wrestling was one such sport. Wrestling also was a platform for him for show of strength, attract and win over womenfolk, and also please the kings and rulers about his capabilities. There are different types of measures made out of stone, wood, etc., which were employed while wrestling. Those days, wrestling was also a part of warfare. This section portrays string puppets. God is the prime mover of the world. God runs this world according to his wish and will. So, when you have to narrate about the Almighty, there has to be an artist, a primary character, taking you through the paces and also tell you how God runs this world. That is the beauty of this puppet. The leather puppet, which is a highlight, performs just the way God wants to handle the world. Bangaraka and Shillekyata are two characters who portray comedy but carry important messages to mankind and run the show. It is not just comedy, but an important message lies within. Thus, the leather puppet play, known as Togalu Bombayata, is attractive, pompous, ornamental, and also a form of art. This Togalu Gombe is thus a combination of various forms of art, different varieties, each tell and signify different tales and forms. It was the Vishwakarma community which had the knowledge to conceive and transform the situations into reality through this art form. It is highly interesting to watch the performance of the leather puppet. You will now see a particular situation about a warfare from mythology. This section depicts the most fabulous costume dance drama Yakshagana, an art that was and is still the soul and breath of the people. Watch the different headgears. These are used for different characters of mythology. String puppets and Yakshagana are interrelated. The various characters and dresses portrayed in Yakshagana are also being used during the performance of the string puppets. Here, we observe the various characters of Ramayana. Watch the variety in the costumes of Yakshagana. Moodalapaya is an art form in Yakshagana. The headgears used in this form are unique. Different headgears for different characters of demon, gods and goddesses. Joint puppets is another dance form which is slowly vanishing. Care must be taken to preserve such an art. Veeragase is another unique dance form which narrates the mythological sequences related to Lord Shiva. Veeragase is famous for the type of beats which is being employed. Single beat is called Ekatala, double beat Dvitala, three beats Tritala, four beats Chaturtala, and multiple beats. These masks are a part of a dance form known as Somana Kunita. Somas are symbols of rural culture. They appear as attendants of the village deity. Black, red and yellow colors are significant. This is another form of dance, the shield dance, popularly known as Harige Kunita. This section depicts the vast array of musical instruments and gives an idea of the divine and heart-rending sounds that emanate from it. Manteswamy is another folk and cultural hero of this region. His episode is being rendered by these artists known as Neelagararu.
ಕಣ್ಣ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ತಾಯಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಮ್ಮನವರೇ ನರ್ಲೋಕದ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ದೊಡ್ಡಮ್ಮ ಶಿವ ಅಯ್ಯ ಪಾತಾಳ ಲೋಕದ ನಾನು ಮರಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಸಿದ್ದಯ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬನ್ಯ ಮಂಡೇರ ಲಿಂಗಯ್ಯ ರೇವೆ ಬನ್ಯ ಕೇಳಮ್ಮ ದೊಡ್ಡಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಮ್ಮನವರೇ ಲೋಕದ ಒಳಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿಸಿಯಾಗಬೇಕು ಹೇಳುವ ದೊಡ್ಡಮ್ಮ ಶಿವ ಶಿವ ಅಯ್ಯ ಮೇಘ ಲೋಕದ ಒಳಗೆ ಗುಡಿ ಪೂಜೆಯಾಗಬೇಕು ಪಾತಾಳ ಲೋಕದ ಒಳಗೆ ಪಾದ ಪೂಜೆಯಾಗಬೇಕು ನಡು ಲೋಕದ ಒಳಗೆ ನನಗೆ ನರರು ಪೂಜೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಸಿದ್ದಯ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬಂದ್ಯ
the lifestyle of people, their ethos, their doctrines, and the very nature of their living and culture in ancient times. If you are looking for something truly indigenous, something truly native, something truly Indian, it is in these collections that we have a glimpse of what kind of culture and civilization we had in the past and how are relevant these systems to us today. Indigenous knowledge, indigenous customs, indigenous systems of practices, they're all time tested.
The Folklore Museum in Mysore tells us about the various aspects, forms, and measures that have changed and move from generation to generation. They tell us how lives have been led, the various traditional and cultural practices. Welcome to another special section. In fact, every section is unique here. This is Buddhali, which implies the hunch on the back of a camel used as a bottle of skin to hold oil, ghee, and so on. The various types of ingredients stored in them do not get spoiled even after long periods. This is known as mene, which were mainly used in palaces as means of transport. One can sense the feeling of comfort within it. These are different types of containers which used to be hung beyond the reach of hawkers, strangers. Foodstuffs like butter, ghee, curds, buttermilk used to be stored in these. The bottom containers refer to children and the top one refers to mother in folk. These are some more artistic creations of the folk. Different formations for different occasions. The fact to observe here is the creativity. When man becomes old, he is referred as a three-legged creature. The third leg is the walking stick. The significance of these walking sticks are the design of the handles. Generally, symbols of a lion or snake is seen on these. These sticks are made either from wood or bamboo. The texture can also signify the taste of the individual. This section shows the various modes and means of lifting water. There is a very simple technology behind this. Though this is not in practice now, it has served as a base for modern technology. Water used to be brought generally from a distance. This is known, and water is transported in this mode. It is an art to balance the adde on your shoulders while bringing water. A man can bring 1 or 2 addes at a time. Watch the variety of baskets in different shapes and sizes. The baskets come in handy for holding a lot of things. There are baskets to store rice, baskets to serve rice, baskets to hold flowers, baskets to hold fruits. The chain type of formations are basically to keep the cradle in place. All in all, a wonderful array of holding measures with lots of imagination and creativity. Different types of covers are used to block the mouths of bullocks, animals ploughing the fields, to prevent them from stealing food or eat the items on the field. These are various such covers. There are creations from roots to hold water, store toddy to drive away animals, covers to prevent calves from drinking milk, and so on. Watch this special device used at the hip for easy climbing of the tree and also to prevent from falling. These are some of the devices which include applying oil to the cart, holding things, and so on. Removing toddy and selling them was a big industry by itself. For this trade, various measures to hold toddy, transportation of toddy can be seen. This section gives us a glimpse of a tribe known as Soligas who dwell in the Biligiri range of hills in Mysore. Sleeping on a crushed bamboo, Bo used to pelt stones at animals. Their culture, their habits, dwellings, traditional practices are unique. The art of living under different circumstances and situations is being taught and passed on from generation to generation. Ladder of single bamboo are some of the high points of this tribe. The Folklore Museum of Mysore is just the right place to study about these oral traditions and other facts, learn from it, and help the present and future generations. A common man worships, performs only those aspects which he believes. The different forms of Mother God, Ma, Amma, Tai, Shakti, Mari, though look similar, are significantly different. This form, known as Gadi Mari, is carried and transferred from the borders of place to place, village to village, and finally discharged into the sea, signifying that all diseases and evils are dumped and each village is free from disease. The Maris have attendants, sevaks, who do the work for their masters. There are both male and female attendants. These tell the story of the people's belief in certain customs. The Maris are prayed for fulfillment of different needs of life for happiness and prosperity. Udugolaji is one such form. They are prayed for fulfillment of different needs, aiming for happiness and prosperity. These animal forms are sacrificial forms. They are made out of mud. Before they go for hunting, these sacrificial forms are placed in front of the god and prayed. Once they come back, they pour the blood of the animal on these sacrificial forms. This is the village deity known as Grama Devate. The village deity, once found unsuitable for prayers, is left back to the nature from where it has come. Watch the variety of lamps. The lamps are significant in offering prayers and at the same time when there is darkness to give light. The different forms signify the cultural heritage and the belief in the Almighty of the folklore. These were called the divine slippers. Watch their sizes. It's puzzling to note that these slippers were worshipped. Lamps were lit in front. Mirror formations were made on them. People believed these represent slippers of the Almighty. The Gauri festival is an important one for the women folk. They pray for her blessings with utmost devotion. Various types of characters are formed during the period. Some of them can be fighters, friends of Gauri, actor, comedian, and various others like priest, sage, and so on. What is playing in your mind is transformed into reality. This is known as the House of Yelu Ankana, the 7 pillars signifying the right distance, which can be a food for thought for the present day architecture and also a lesson for those who try their hand in architecture. The imagination of those times are really noteworthy. These are the different types of building tools that were used for construction and are prevalent even today. Some modifications might have taken place, but these have served as the base for the present modern-day tools. The knowledge of the common man during those days towards woodworking led to the formation and creation of new tools which served as a base for the cottage industry. These are used in different segments of the cottage industry. This is the result of that. Watch this golden howdah. This golden howdah is a part of every year's Dasra festivities and is quite familiar for those who know about Mysore Dasra. What is significant here is this is the artwork of the Vishwakarma community, who are well known for their craftsmanship. The Folklore Museum is a study center to know more about such craftsmanship. These are the various implements which were being used for various purposes of the Vishwakarma community. These are some of the implements and accessories used in weaving. Weaving is the base for a textile industry. We all know textiles are an integral part of our Indian industry. One of the important results in this part of the area is the silk industry, the famous Mysore silk saris. These are known all over the world. These various types of locks are a strong foundation for the heavy-duty locks and the small locks and different kinds of locks that are manufactured today. These will continue to serve as a base for the locks which are going to be manufactured in future too. This section tells us how records were maintained during those days. If we observe this section carefully, we come across handmade paper, ink made of ragi, and that is the single sheet joined together. Probably an account is being maintained. Indeed, you will have all accounts at one place. This is the creativity of the women folk. You must be wondering how such a big lump of thread has gone inside the bottle. It is the technique of weaving by our women folk who pierce those threads patiently one by one and finally get the form. This is Mahishasura. The city of Mysore got its name from Mahishasura, who was slain by goddess Chamundeshwari. Goddess Chamundeshwari is known as Mahishasura Mardhini. One must know, how did the Folklore Museum take shape? Who was responsible for the acquisition of these great art collection? What are the special features of this museum? Well, the Folklore Museum of the University of Mysore in the Manasa Gangotri is said to be the only full-fledged folklore museum in the whole of Southeast Asia. It was established in the year 1968 with the forethought and the good vision of Professor De Javaregowda and Dr. Hama Naik. Even students and the people in general got inspired and brought old objects from their houses and donated it to the museum. Dr. J.S. Paramashivaya and former curator Sri P.R. Tippeswamy joined and collected thousands of articles.
ಈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಜನತೆಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆಯನ್ನು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
I am grateful to all those people who have contributed directly or indirectly in setting up this museum and its successful existence. We must preserve this for our present generation and also for the future. I am sure with the support of the people, we will be able to do this. All in all, Folklore Museum is a place which you must not miss to visit. It will be a real eye-opener.
ಹೊಸ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಶೋಧಕರಿಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ಆವಿಷ್ಕಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಈ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಯಮನ್ನು ಫಾಸಿಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ಲೈವ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಕ್ರಮ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ತೀರಿ ಹೋದವರನ್ನು
If we find some vacuum in our life, the folk items can bridge that gap and tell us the significance of life and bring back interest towards life. It also will teach us and preach important messages towards happy living. The role played by Mr. Tippeswamy in the development and growth of the museum is significant.
ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲರ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಡಿದ
All of us
ಕನ್ನಡಿಗಳು
are
ಅಂತಲೇ
trying to
ನಾವು
continue the
ಇವತ್ತು
good work
ಭಾವಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
that has
ಆ
already been
ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ
made,
ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ
and we are
ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ
sure
ವಸ್ತುಗಳಿವೆ.
with the support of the
ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ
people we
ತರುವಲ್ಲಿ
shall be able
ನಮ್ಮ
to
ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ
achieve
ಪಿ.ಆರ್. ತಿಪ್ಪೇಸ್ವಾಮಿ
more
ಅವರು
success.
ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು
I
ನಾವು
once
ಬಹಳ
again
ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ
request
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು
the
ಹೆಸರನ್ನ
support
ಜ್ಞಾಪಿಸಬೇಕು.
and
ವಿ.
patronage
ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರು.
of all
ವಿ.
citizens.
ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರು ಜಾನಪದದ ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕರಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ಅವರು ಜಾನಪದದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಪಿ.ಆರ್. ತಿಪ್ಪೇಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿದರು. ಪಿ.ಆರ್. ತಿಪ್ಪೇಸ್ವಾಮಿಯವರು ಒಂದು ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಈ ವಸ್ತು ಸಂಗ್ರಹದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅನೇಕ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ವಸ್ತು ಸಂಗ್ರಹದ ವೀರ ಅಂತಲೇ ನಾನು ಕರೀತೇನೆ.
ಜಾನಪದ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪುರಾತನವಾದದ್ದು. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ
The folk culture is an ancestral one.
ಅಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ
It is the foundation for art, science forms of today.
ಅದು ನಾಶವಾದ ಪಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯೇ ಪುರಾತನ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಗೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತದೆ.
The motive is to preserve these articles which can serve as a leading light to the present and future generation. The objects used for everyday purposes attain a ritual value, a sacrosanctity which then elevates the craft and consequently its maker to be realm of the sacred. These are therefore not merely items created for the elementary purpose of marketing, but form an integral part of the socio-religious order of traditional and contemporary village and tribal life in India.
ನಾಳೆ ಉಣ್ಣುವಂತ ಅನ್ನ ನಾಳೆ ತಗಡಿ ಒಳಗೆ ತೋಗುತ್ತಾರೆ.